How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. I am Jason C, and if you're a subscriber, thanks for coming back. Always glad to see you. If it's your first time here, you're looking for the latest in whiskey and bourbon news and reviews, you have found the right channel. So think about hitting that subscribe button below and hit that bell notification right next to it so you know when I'm putting out a new video. Today, we have a really cool bourbon. This is Belle Meade Cask Strength Reserve Bourbon out of Tennessee. Let's get into it. Alright, so a little bit of history before we get into this bottle, like I always like to do. So this whiskey can kind of be seen as a tribute to rediscovering roots. It turns out that Greenbrier Distillery was a very old and very successful distillery in the late 1800s, started by a soap maker named Charles Nelson, who immigrated from Germany as a young man. The distillery was the largest Tennessee whiskey producer in 1885. Now, Belle Meade Bourbon was one of about 30 different labels that Charles Nelson produced in the late 1800s. It's different from most of his other products in that it was produced in conjunction with a third party called Sperry Wade & Company of Nashville, Tennessee. Sperry Wade & Company was formed by the Sperry and Wade families, who were instrumental in making the Belle Meade Plantation a world-famous horse farm. Now, Sperry Wade & Company contracted Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery to create bourbon, rye, corn, and Tennessee whiskeys bearing the Belle Meade name, and soon Belle Meade Bourbon was the toast of the town. Now, shortly after that, when Charles Nelson passed away, his wife took over the business, which was a huge rarity during that era. So the Greenbrier Distillery is one of the many whiskey producing facilities that fell into disrepair due to Prohibition. But 100 years later, enter Charlie and Andy Nelson, who brought the business back. Andy and Charlie Nelson were two young men just graduating from college, were running an errand with their father, Bill. They were headed to a butcher shop in Greenbrier, Tennessee, just north of their hometown of Nashville, to pick up their share of a butchered cow. Now, running low on fuel, they pulled over for fill-up and noticed an historical marker detailing the once influential Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery run by Charles Nelson. So imagine just pulling over to the side of the road and right there is a sign pretty much labeling out your entire family's history in distilling. Pretty cool, huh? But after a handful of false starts, the Nelsons decided to make Belle Meade Bourbon from a proprietary blend. They tasted and tasted until they found the perfect combination, an outstanding well-aged bourbon that tasted unlike any other in the world. For the label, Andy and Charlie reached out to the descendants of the Sperry and Wade families that we mentioned earlier. Sure enough, they had what the brothers were looking for and supplied them with the original artwork to the label. To this day, the SW & Co. markers still adorn the front of the label in their honor. In fact, little was changed from the original label, and with fundraising and some help from the legendary master distiller, the late great Dave Pickerel, in their first production stages, the Nelson brothers have built a reputable brand. Everyone loves a good story and it appears to be backed by a really nice whiskey. Now, the Belle Meade Cask Strength Reserve features a 7-cask blend of well-aged high rye bourbon. This means that around 1,000 bottles are produced per batch. Now, it should be noted that this is not the wheated charcoal mellow recipe that made the distillery famous back in the 1880s. They do make that one, along with a variety of cask-finished bourbons, including sherry, Madeira, and cognac, to go along with their original single barrel and this one that we're reviewing today, the Cask Strength Reserve Bourbon. Now, released nationwide in July 2018, the Cask Strength Reserve will range in proof a little bit from about 110 to 120, and it will be stated on each bottle. The Belle Meade Bourbon label was designed to pay respect to two of the most admired studs from the Belle Meade Plantation. It is almost exactly the same as it was more than 100 years ago. Now, the horse depicted on the right is Bonnie Scotland, one of the founders of the Northern Dancer bloodline. Some of the descendants of this bloodline include Seabiscuit, War Admiral, Man of War, Secretariat, California Chrome, American Pharaoh, just to name a few of those amazing horses. Now, the name of the stud on the left of the label, well, his name is Brown Dick. He never won a race, but was famous in his own right and studded out numerous times. Brown Dick's provocative name was also the reason why the Nelson brothers decided to make a slight alteration to the original label by removing the names of the horses. Alright guys, so you see the bottle here, you see the close-up of those two, one very famous horse and one infamous horse. So this particular bottle that we're going to crack open is 57.45% ABV, cask strength, or 114.9 proof. This is an MGP sourced 7 to 11 year high rye bourbon with a mash bill supposedly of 64% corn, 30% rye, and 6% malted barley. It's non-chill filtered and has an MSRP of about $60. This bottle also is a number 186 from batch 9. So let's get into it here. There's a little pull tab here on the side. So let's open that. Take off our cork. Oh, there we go. Nice pop. Came off pretty easily. And let's get a nice pour. All right, guys, let's get into it. All right, guys, so this has been opening up for a few minutes, given its cask strength. I wanted to let it breathe a little bit, let those alcohol fumes kind of come out and open up a little bit. So before we get into it, let's get into the color a little bit on this one. It's a really nice, super dark color. It's got this dark amber copper color to it. Really nice. That cask strength and non-chill filtered, it is coating the glass really nicely, just like you really like a nice cask strength bourbon to be. All right, guys, let's get into the nose. Here we go. Wow, the alcohol definitely punches through here still. But you're getting a lot of corn sweetness there on the nose. Honey, caramels. I think I'm getting a little hint of a banana here too. There's definitely a little bit of banana in there, I think. Banana is one of those scents that I could pick up pretty easily. All right, so as it's opening up here, I'm definitely getting some real nice some fruit notes in there. There's definitely a really nice caramel apple flavor in there. Now that buttery sweetness, that corn, it's really at the forefront. It's really nice. As it continues to open up, a lot of the fruit flavors that I'm picking up with that apple, they're becoming much stronger. So that caramel apple note is really coming through in a nice way. There's a little bit of baking spice behind there, you know, maybe a little bit of that cinnamon. You're definitely getting some a slight hint of maybe licorice in there from the high rye mash bill, but it's very subtle. It's coming through more cinnamon than anything, maybe like a cinnamon cherry flavor, but mostly apple, caramel apple flavor, that really nice corn, buttery sweetness, really nice nose. All right, let's go in for the first sip, guys. Cheers. Wow. Whoa. That is big toasted oak flavor on the front of that. I mean, the first sip always lights up your palate, and I'm always wondering what it's going to feel like on the first sip. Oh, and there's the Kentucky Hug working its way down. Really nice. But the first thing, all I got was this big waft of vanilla and toasted oak. Really nice on the first sip. All right, let's go in for the second sip, guys. All right, that toasted oak punch that I got in the first sip, it's kind of leveling out now, and now a lot of the sweet flavors are coming through. The buttery corn sweetness, really deep dark caramels in there. That's really nice. The fruit flavors are coming through, but it's very quick. You're getting it like right towards the mid palate, but then at the end, that high rye takes over. You get cinnamon, you get a nice high rye, that black pepper spice kick. Let's see if it changes it all a little bit here. Let's go to the third sip. Oh, now see, now more cherries coming through. Really nice. It's got this really unique apple cherry combo flavor that I'm really enjoying. So once your palate kind of gets used to the being lit up by that high proof, you definitely get a little bit of the toasted oak in the beginning. But now as your palate gets used to it, man, the vanilla cherry flavor in there is just awesome. And then it comes through as it finishes off, you know, like I mentioned, that nice high rye mash bill kick of the black pepper. It's really good. It's really kind of taking you through a really nice bourbon experience. I'm really enjoying it so far. Let's go in for one last sip here, and I could talk more about the mouthfeel and the finish. Wow. Yeah, I mean, oh man, it's changing as I keep sipping on it. It's great. The apple cherry note is kind of consistent all the way through. But now the front, after that oak kind of dissipated a little bit, after my palate got used to it, really turning into a nice caramel, toffee, buttery corn flavor. It's really nice. But then the finish is definitely from that high rye mash bill, that really nice black pepper kick. Maybe a slight hint of licorice there, but it's really faint, I think. I think it's coming through more as a cinnamon. Oh, it's really nice. It's kind of taking me on a nice ride here. I'm really enjoying this, as you could tell. It's a really nice high proof bourbon for $60. It's really good. So because it's cask strength, what I want to do is add a little water and see how it changes it up a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more bourbon here because I don't want the water to overpower it. Yeah, just another excuse to pour more bourbon, right? All right, so let's drop a little water in here. Do about 2 or 3 drops. All right, let's let that kind of mingle a little bit here. All right, so this glass has been swirling for a couple of minutes now. I added some water. Let's see if it changed up the nose at all. Here we go. Wow, it made it really sweet on the nose, way sweeter. It's like butterscotch, like a Werther's Candy original butterscotch. Really nice. The alcohol definitely dissipated a little bit, which we expect when you add a little water. But a lot of that deep dark wood character has kind of gone away now. And now you're just mostly getting sweet notes on there. It's kind of brought out the fruit notes a little bit too, though. I'm picking up the cherry and the apple a little bit easier after adding the water. Really nice. Well, still got a little bit of alcohol in there. All right, let's see what the water did to the taste. It definitely made it sweeter. It's really nice. I'm actually getting a little bit more cherry. The more of that cherry flavor came through after adding the water. That's really good. The butterscotch is still there. You do lose a little bit of that that toasted wood, that really nice charred oak flavor in there. So if you're a fan of that, the water might not be the best idea. But yeah, a lot of different sweeter flavors are coming through now. I can only imagine as I sip this down, as air gets to it, this could turn into something really special with the apple notes and the cherry notes, that high rye bourbons. I mean, for me personally, I do like a high rye bourbon. I really like getting that black pepper spice kick on the end. It's really, really good. All right, guys, so as I mentioned, I really think this is a great bottle of bourbon. It's cask strength. It's only $60. There are cask strength bourbons that are way more money than that. You're getting a lot of flavor in here, a lot of oak. There's definitely some fruit notes to be found in here. Fruitiness, toasted oak. If you like high rye, it definitely makes itself known on the back of the palate and on the finish. It's oily, it coats your palate, the flavors stay with you. It's a really nice bourbon. I'm really surprised by it. Now, keep in mind, I did mention that they batch these together. So batch 9 is the one that I'm drinking today, but batch 10, batch 11, whatever batch they're up to, could be slightly different in the flavor profile. But this particular bottle, batch 9, is really delicious. I'm really enjoying it. If you find it anywhere for $60 and you really want to explore some more cask strength bourbons, I highly recommend picking this up. All right, guys, well, thanks again for watching the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. I really appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't yet, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Hit that like button. If you haven't yet, please find me on Instagram and also find me on Twitter. Love talking with you guys. Let me know if you've had this bourbon, what you think of it, what batch that you're sipping on, and let me know how it is compared to this one or the flavors that I was picking up. And as I always say, it is not about the whiskey, it is the people you share it with. Happy holidays, everyone, and I'll see you again soon.